Citizen online training. Approaching healthcare providers. Effective strategies to make them citizen promoters. Getting their attention. Effective sales approach to get an appointment and their attention. An effective sales approach to get time with a doctor, or any health provider, and to make him willing to listen to what you have to say requires a strategy. Doctors seek for value. Doctors take care of their valuable time and they only share some of it with salespeople who approach them with a promise of value. All you need to know to succeed is which way to approach them in order to convey that value. You represent change and risk. To the health provider you represent change and they don't like change, because change introduces the potential of risk. Doctors are in the risk management business and often their main goal is to avoid or reduce risk as much as possible. When it comes to risk, the doctor should see you as someone who will potentially reduce risk. Your first challenge is to get the appointment. One of the biggest challenges of the medical representatives is getting time with a doctor. If you approach the doctor and inform him that your intention is to show him your new product, in the doctor's mind will represent change, which is an increase of risk. Present citizen as a risk reducer. How to avoid this? Approach the doctor by immediately let him know that you are there to demonstrate a specific way to reduce risk when compared to what he is doing now. You should not approach him by saying, "Doctor, I'm here to show you the new Citizen BPM." You should approach him by saying, "Doctor, can we take 2 minutes so I can show you how to almost completely eliminate the risk of misreading blood pressure?" Make the healthcare provider citizen promoters. If you decrease the doctor's risk, not only you will get appointments more often, but also you will be able to convert him into a promoter of citizen products.
Be a citizen expert. Be an expert in citizen products. The first thing you need to do before facing any sale is to be sure about having all the needed knowledge of your product. Healthcare providers are experts in their field. Don't get intimidated when talking to doctors or healthcare providers because they are experts in medical field. They don't expect you to know as much as they do, they want you to see them as the experts. Be an expert in your product. You need to be an expert too, an expert on citizen products. You need to know each and every aspect of the product so when the questions come you will have the right answer. Study deeply all the aspects of the items before starting a sales meeting. Be an expert in the competitors. At the same time, you need to be an expert in your competition. You have to know Omron, Microlife, and Buer products' features and position in the market, so you can make any comparison between the similar models when asked. Know how your product improves the patient outcome. You need to be an expert specifically on how citizen products help to solve a problem or improve patients' outcome. You have to explain clearly to the healthcare providers which are the benefits in using citizen products in their daily routine, and why they need to recommend them to their patients. Doctors will see you as a solution provider. In this way they will start to see the opportunities that citizen products give to provide better outcomes for their patients, or to save time, or to reduce risk.
Dealing with the price issue. Dealing with the price issue in medical sales. Price is always an issue which will come up in the sales meetings. It is needed to be prepared in order to avoid rejections and have the right strategies to present citizen products as a whole, and not only related to their price. There are 3 basic ideas to approach the pricing issue. 1. Price is not what is most important to your customers. None of the healthcare professionals enter into their field with the goal of providing the cheapest healthcare possible. Surely price is a consideration but is not the most important one. A professional primary objective is to deliver the best possible patient outcome while minimizing the risks. The seller should dig deep to find out what the customer true needs are. When you comply with the customer needs better than the competition, and you sell a product that fulfills customers' expectations, the price is secondary. The customer always look to cover their needs more than the cost. In this way, price becomes secondary relative to the patient's outcome. 2. The only differentiator for a commoditized product is price. When you allow your customer to commoditize your product, then price becomes the only differentiator. Citizen and the competitors have similar products with similar features between each other. When two brands are presenting their products in the same way, then the only difference becomes the price. When you just recite features and benefits, you are not selling, you're just a walking brochure. Only Citizen is positioned for a specific challenge, need or objective. It can be differentiated. It needs to be presented as how is going to make a difference for the doctor and the patients in a tangible way. They need to see how is it going to grow the practice, how can the doctor promote it, and how can increase the ability to see more patients and use the time more efficiently. 3. Support from the right people in your accounts minimizes the price issues. If the customers are willing to pay more for your product than what they get from the competitor, you must continuously differentiate the value they are getting in return. Asking them for reference in the new sales is a good way to show the new customers how your other customers don't see the price as an issue. Speak about the price proactively. Speaking about the price proactively, not necessarily how much the product cost, but how does the product is able to reduce the cost of the procedure or the operation of the business entity of that healthcare provider. They are already thinking about the price issue, so when you bring it up into the conversation, it means that you are not afraid to talk about it. You should be able to demonstrate the value efficiently so that the price is not going to be a potential threat to the sales.
Improving sales. 4 habits that will improve your Citizen Medical Devices sales. There are many ways to increase the sales, but these 4 points are basic not only to make more sales, but also to make them more consistent in time, to keep the customer buying from you. Be relevant. You need to maintain buyers' relevance. Customer service. You have to provide customer care and service that is transparent. Constant research. You need to be a student of the medical devices industry. Planning and preparation. Consistently maintain a plan and a process.
Being relevant. Be relevant. The first key to increase the sales in that the buyer should consider your products as important. Being relevant is being able to provide to your customers what they want. Build relevant relationships. The key to medical sales is relationships. But this relationships should be based on relevance, is not just trying to be friends, is how relevant is the sales representative to the medical provider practice and patients. Provide value. The way to become relevant is to provide value to the healthcare provider, offer Citizen showing how it will help the provider, help the practice and help the patient. Become a problem solver. The product needs to be presented as to improve the outcome, improve the patient's health and practice, to reduce the cost of the facility. You are not just a product pusher, you become a problem solver. Fast interaction. The technology allows us to be fast. Doctors wants the information quickly. That is a value because you can get results immediately and treat the patients more effectively. Technology allows speed in communication and in treatment analysis, so the responses should be immediate.
Customer service. Transparent customer service. Being transparent means to be clear with your customers. It means being open and honest about what Citizen is and what it does. Transparency creates the grounds for trust. Quality in the customer service. We are in the age of quality. In Citizen products, quality is expected, and the same is with customer service. Saying that you provide good customer service is not a differentiator from other companies. Provide it before the customer needs it. Customers expect a customer service where they don't have to ask for it. The medical representative should be constantly looking for opportunities to provide customer service, especially before the customer asks for it. Don't take customers' time. You should be always ready to solve any type of problem but without interfering with the usual practice of the medical provider. This means having all information available and an idea of the procedures to follow up in case of a service is needed. Be proactive. Being proactive and trying to keep the customer service need to the minimum is the best way to provide it. The ability to focus on the customer and their needs is what will really differentiate you from everyone that is out there.
Research your field. Be a student of the medical devices industry. The citizen medical representatives need to have a deep understanding of what the requirements are in the sector. Need to know what challenges their customers and prospect are facing. Be proactive in research. For being proactive, you need to have a good understanding of the customer's world, so it would be easier to find the opportunities for the product in that sector. Know your citizen products. Is not needed or expected to be an expert as the healthcare provider, but you have to know your product inside and out. Also, you have to know your competitor products, especially the ones that your customer is using or planning to use. No more excuses. Nowadays there are no excuses for not having the information we are talking about, because it's easy to reach for everyone, as Google Alerts, CRM, research tools of internet, all free and at the reach of the fingertips with our mobile phones. Be updated. Information is power, and you have to be constantly updated with the sector you're selling, because is always changing, and is always relevant.
Planning and preparation. Consistently maintain a plan and a process. Focusing on the customer and the patients requires a plan and a process to execute the plan. It means how you are going to go out to do business in your territory. It's very important to know what to do and to execute it following a plan while trying to sell citizen medical devices. Make a plan to reach the healthcare providers. Access to doctors is becoming every time more difficult. It is needed to plan how to overpass the receptionist and reach to the health provider, to know their schedule and when to approach the receptionist in order to gain access to the doctor's office. Research on Internet. You should use the Internet tools to research the practitioner. In their website, for example, there should be the mission statements, which is the most important points for the doctor, and you can use that information to talk effectively with the health provider. For example, you can start saying, I know the patient is very important to you, so I would like to have a conversation about how I can help you to help your patients, and differentiate your practice from your colleagues and the community. Follow-up. Another area that needs to be covered insensibly in planning is the follow-up. For example, first presentation goes very well, but then the sales representative can't get back to see him because it gets rejected by the receptionist or his emails are not answered. This is because follow-up is usually an afterthought. Dealing with very busy people, like doctors, and dealing with very critical issues, makes it very difficult to follow up because a healthcare provider usually will not change what he is doing in the first call. It takes many visits to convince a new customer. A healthcare provider will not change to a different medical device in the first call. He might consider it, he might take a few samples and try with some patients. But a lot of times the healthcare provider will fall back into whatever habits had been used and is going to take multiple conversations to get that provider to start thinking differently. Follow-up is critically important. After the first meeting is very important to create a path for the second call and the third call. At the same time is important to know who the stockholders are, who are the ones which make the final decision to incorporate the product, and you should reach to every one of them in order to succeed in the sale. You need to know who the stockholders are, you need to have the plan how to approach them already prepared at the first sales call so that everything that happens after flows naturally. All this happens only with previous planning and following the process. Document every step you make. Everything should be documented and monitored so the process can be followed without forgetting any step, and at the same time you will be able to measure the success of every technique used.